I choose to believe the Bible because it's a reliable collection of historical documents written down by eyewitnesses during the lifetime of other eyewitnesses. They report to us supernatural events that took place in fulfillment of specific prophecies and claim that their writings are divine rather than human in origin. In 1 Corinthians chapter 15, Paul says that Jesus was resurrected. After he was resurrected, he appeared to Peter. Then he appeared to the 12. Then he appeared to all of the disciples at once. Then he appeared to over 500 brethren at one time, and he says these words, most of whom remain until now. When you do the math, you realize that when 1 Corinthians was written, there were over 300 eyewitnesses, at least, of the resurrection of Jesus Christ who were still alive during that time. Oh, I hear you. But it's been translated so many times and it's been changed so many times. These overzealous monks who went out and changed the Bible so that things would match up, so that it would look like we have older documents than we actually have. If overzealous monks want to change the Bible, can I explain to you what they would have had to do? When we're talking about just the New Testament itself, there are over 6,000 manuscripts or portions of manuscripts for the New Testament itself. Well, you don't have the originals. No, we really don't. But guess what? We can get earlier than AD 120 with some of the copies that we have. So if these overzealous monks wanted to doctor the Bible, what they would have to do is find over 6,000 manuscripts, change all of them, not show their ink work, get them all back where they stole them from, and never tell anybody what they did. That's just level number one.
So what's your chief argument to people who are purporting to object to the Bible or object more broadly to the existence of God and his providence in the universe on an intellectual basis?
I choose to believe the Bible because it's a reliable collection of historical documents written by eyewitnesses during the lifetime of other eyewitnesses. They report supernatural events that took place in fulfillment of specific prophecies, and they claim that their writings are divine rather than human in origin. So again, this is not just, close your eyes and hope you feel something, type stuff. We do not have a God who calls upon us for blind faith. We have a God who speaks. We have a God who has revealed himself.
Jesus' resurrection from the dead is Yahweh's public and unequivocal vindication of the man whom the chief priests had rejected as a blasphemer. It is the divine demonstration that these allegedly blasphemous claims are in fact true, that he was who he claimed to be, and that therefore I follow Jesus in his conception of what it means to be the Messiah.
How does a good God rule over a world in which children die, in which horrible things happen to good people?
Yes. The evil and suffering in the world make it very difficult to believe in God. It's a tremendous emotional obstacle. The atheist would have to show that it is either impossible or improbable that God has morally sufficient reasons for permitting the natural and moral evil in the world. And so I think that the problem of evil, as difficult as it may be emotionally, intellectually, it lays a burden of proof on the shoulders of the atheist, which is so heavy that it has proved to be unsustainable.
You also hear arguments that the Bible permits slavery.
In ancient Israel, there was no social safety net sponsored by the state. There was no poverty program. So if a man got himself into a situation where he couldn't pay his debts, he could keep his family together and retain his self-respect until he could work off his debts.
Let's say everything came into existence because something exploded over 13 billion years ago. I just wonder who was present 13 billion years ago. If it's a theory, I'm not obligated to accept it and believe in it, therefore don't force it on me. Don't teach it at university levels, and don't brainwash all these beautiful young men and women and take them away from God. How dare you do this? There's almost 8 billion people live on the face of this planet as we speak, but no one's fingerprint is the same as the other.
Right.
That's not a fluke.
Right.
That is a deliberate and intelligent creation by this intelligent being whom we as Christians believe and claim to be God. Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That is the cause of creation. not just an explosion on its own. There was an explosion. What caused the explosion? Who caused the explosion? And who controlled the explosion?
Forceful sexual assault? Yeah, that's wrong. Everyone here will agree with that, and
Cody,
I have no grounds.
Cody, how is it wrong if there's no God? Is it just your opinion?
No, it's everyone in this room's opinion.
Cody, majority vote does not determine right
No
and
one.
wrong.
Zero
Otherwise,
people.
you'd have to say the Nazis were right in murdering Jews, homosexuals, gypsies, and Jehovah's Witnesses because they voted that way. There's nothing wrong with God doing anything because by atheism, there's no standard of right and wrong anyway. So in order for you to bring up the objection, you're actually stealing a standard from God.
God has the right to slaughter the Amalekites down to the last man, woman, and child.
God has the right to take us out anytime we want because if Christianity's true, men don't really die, we just change location.